ActiveCampaign ThriveCart source. We're going to cover how to get the information about where your customer came from using ActiveCampaign, ThriveCart, and a couple Php scripts. So what's involved is instead of sending somebody directly from an advertisement to a checkout page or a sales page, you need to redirect them through a script that has information about the source and then cookie that person with that information. And then when they do make a purchase, they actually have to go through another redirect where the cookie is read and then the ActiveCampaign account for that person is updated with the source of information. So those two PHP scripts, ThriveCart success URL needs to be set, and inside ActiveCampaign there needs to be a custom field and an automation to handle this. So let's dive right in. So inside your ActiveCampaign account, you're going to need to create a custom field, and I'm going to use one called UTM source. I named it UTM-source. One thing to notice is the personalization tag. We want to use that value. Don't copy this value at a later step. We want this one. And then secondly, I'm using an automation that says fires whenever this UTM custom field changes. And then what it does is it checks for different values, and it has a number of as many if statements as you want. It can get kind of busy and convoluted, but this is the idea. You check to see if that value is set to that parameter is set to a certain value. If it is, add a tag that's appropriate based on that custom field. Same for the next version. If this is UTM source equals Google, then you would put a tag called Google. I didn't do that here, but that's the idea. And then finally, or I shouldn't say finally, inside ThriveCart, we need to make a couple changes with our product. So if you go in and edit the product and go to fulfillment, you're going to want to provide a success URL. And I'm going to change that momentarily. But on the checkout success page, make sure this is set to redirect to your own custom page. I'm going to save that just so it doesn't forget. If I make a mistake and go out, back into there, and the next thing I want to modify is, okay, so let's tell it where we want to send customers when we're finished. So I'm not going to do it right here. I need to use a redirect, my after redirect. So let's just say I want to send them to example.com/thank you. Really, I want to send it to someplace on my domain. So I want to go ahead and create a redirect, copy that link back into ThriveCart. That's going to be your success URL. So go ahead and do that right there, save it, and then you're ready to go. We do need to get this URL now. So in this case, beforehand, I want people to land on that checkout page. And what's going to happen is this redirect will send them through, drop a cookie on their computer about the information about the source, so that can be read later through the redirect, the after redirect. So I'm going to go ahead, paste that in there, and I'm going to apply some UTM parameters. This UTM source is all that I'm interested in because that's the one I've got my ActiveCampaign automation set to read. Now notice it's got _source, but I'm not too worried about that right now because I will show you. So there's the link. This is going to be my link that I have from, for instance, a Facebook ad. This is going to be where it sends it to. It's eventually going to get to here, but before that does that, it's going to drop some cookies. So a couple things. Now we need to look at the PHP scripts. So this is the before script, and really there's no modifications to make. It just as is. What it does is it takes the information and parses through it and then sets a cookie. That's all it really does, and then it sends it along its way to where you want it to go. The second one, the after, a little more complicated, and you do need to put some information up here at the top. You need to provide the custom field. So let's go back to ActiveCampaign. And I want to do this. I want to copy that right there, not UTM-source. So there is a little logic in there in case you botch that up. So the ActiveCampaign URL and API key. You can find that underneath your name, the upper right-hand corner, My Settings. Go to Developer. There's the URL. There is the key. Go ahead and save that. And without getting too fancy, what happens here, and I'm going to comment this out because that's for testing, it verifies that the purchase was made. So there's no way somebody's going to get through here if they didn't go through ThriveCart. So there's this validation step up here. If they do, what ends up happening is we end up reading the cookie. And then from there, we update the contact's information. So let's give it a whirl. Let's make sure this is saved with that new information. And then one thing to show you about this, if I look at this right here, any of these pages I'm on right now, this is the before URL. Let me just copy that guy. And I'm going to use the inspector to show you the cookies that are set right now. So if I go to application and I'm on my integratepro.net site, notice there is no UTM source or UTM content set right now. So I'm going to open a new window. I'm going to give it this before link. For instance, this would be a Facebook ad link that would send it to a checkout page. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it did send me where I expected. Now, if I come back here and refresh this, I want to check that the cookies are on there. Yes, UTM content is test, UTM source is Facebook. So those are set, ready to be used. I'm going to go ahead and make a purchase right now. Plus test 123. And let's go into ActiveCampaign and see if I'm in there right now. I don't think I am. So not in there currently, but I'm going to go ahead and make this purchase. I'm going to be sent through a redirect, and then I'm sent to example.com/thank you. Okay, now let's go check if I am in here now. And there's the tag. So I've got the UTM source custom field, and I've also applied a tag based on that UTM field. So that's how to use ActiveCampaign ThriveCart to get the source of your customer.